Imagine being so wealthy that every time you spent money, you accidentally destroyed entire economies. Imagine walking into a foreign country and within weeks, causing inflation so severe that it took that country 25 years to recover. Now imagine doing all of this, not by war, not by conquest, but simply by going on a trip. This is not a fictional story. This is not an exaggeration. This is the true story of Mansa Musa, the African king who was so astronomically wealthy that historians today still cannot agree on exactly how rich he was. And the world has almost completely forgotten him. Until now. To understand Mansa Musa, you first need to understand where he came from. In the 13th and 14th centuries, while much of the world was still developing, there existed in West Africa one of the greatest empires the world has ever seen, the Mali Empire. Stretching across nearly 2 million square kilometers, the Mali Empire covered what is today Senegal, Gambia, Guinea, Mali, Burkina Faso, and parts of Nigeria and Chad. It was a civilization of incredible sophistication, with universities, libraries, advanced trade networks, and cities that rivaled anything in Europe or Asia at the time. And at the center of all this wealth and power sat one man, Mansa Musa, the 10th Mansa, meaning King of Kings of the Mali Empire. He came to power around 1312 AD, under remarkable circumstances. His predecessor, Mansa Abu Bakr II, had actually sailed into the Atlantic Ocean with a fleet of 2,000 ships searching for new lands, and was never seen again. That left Mansa Musa on the throne of the richest empire on earth. But how rich, exactly? This is where the story becomes almost impossible to believe. Historians and economists who have attempted to calculate Mansa Musa's wealth estimate his net worth at approximately $400 billion in today's money. $400 billion. Let that sink in for a moment. To put that in perspective, Elon Musk, currently one of the richest men alive today, is worth around $200 billion. Mansa Musa was worth twice that. But even that comparison does not fully capture his wealth. Because unlike modern billionaires, whose wealth exists mostly on paper, in stocks and investments, Mansa Musa's wealth was physical. Gold, salt, land, resources. The Mali Empire sat on top of almost half of the world's gold supply at the time, and Mansa Musa controlled all of it. His kingdom produced so much gold that it was said the streets of his capital city, Niamey, glittered in the sunlight. He had so much gold that he literally did not know what to do with it all. But here is where it gets truly fascinating. In 1324, Mansa Musa decided to make the Hajj, the Islamic pilgrimage, to Mecca in Saudi Arabia. Now for most people, a pilgrimage is a humble and spiritual journey. For Mansa Musa, it was the most spectacular display of wealth the world had ever witnessed. He did not travel alone. Mansa Musa set out with an entourage of 60,000 people. Yes, 60,000. His procession included 12,000 personal slaves, each carrying 4 pounds of gold bars, 80 camels, each carrying 300 pounds of gold dust, hundreds of elephants, thousands of soldiers, and merchants, scholars, doctors, and entertainers. The total amount of gold he carried on this single trip is estimated at 18 tons. 18 tons of gold on one trip. As he traveled through cities across Africa and the Middle East, Mansa Musa did something extraordinary. He gave it all away. Every city he passed through, he distributed gold generously to the poor. He built mosques. He paid for feasts. He tipped so extravagantly that people who witnessed his procession thought they were dreaming. When he arrived in Cairo, Egypt, the impact was immediate and catastrophic. Mansa Musa spent and gave away so much gold in Cairo that he flooded the entire Egyptian market with gold. Now here is something important to understand. When gold floods a market, its value drops. And that is exactly what happened. The price of gold in Egypt collapsed overnight. Merchants who had built their entire lives around the gold trade suddenly found their savings completely worthless. Egypt's economy went into a spiral that took 25 years to fully recover. All because one man went on a vacation. But the story does not end there. When Mansa Musa finally arrived in Mecca, word of his extraordinary wealth had already spread across the entire known world. For the first time, Europe became aware that there existed in Africa a king of unimaginable power and riches. European mapmakers began including Mansa Musa on their world maps. The famous Catalan Atlas of 1375 shows Mansa Musa sitting on a golden throne, holding a golden scepter, with a golden crown on his head. He had put Africa on the map. Literally. When Mansa Musa returned home from his pilgrimage, he used his wealth to transform his entire empire. He hired the famous architect Abu Ishaq al-Sahili, who he brought back from Mecca, to design and build stunning mosques and palaces across the Mali Empire. He expanded the University of Sankore in Timbuktu into one of the greatest centers of learning in the medieval world, with over 25,000 students and a library of nearly 1 million manuscripts. 1 million manuscripts. In 14th century Africa, Timbuktu became the intellectual capital of the world. Scholars from across Africa, the Middle East, and even Europe traveled there to study astronomy, mathematics, literature, and law. This was not a primitive civilization. This was one of the most advanced societies on Earth. And it was African. So here is the question that should be burning in your mind right now. If Mansa Musa was the richest human being who ever lived, if his empire was one of the greatest civilizations in history, if Timbuktu was the intellectual capital of the medieval world, why did nobody teach you this in school? The answer is uncomfortable, but important. Much of African history was deliberately buried, ignored, and erased during centuries of colonialism. The narrative that Africa had no great civilizations, no great kings, no great achievements, was a lie. A lie told to justify exploitation. But the truth is coming back. And that is exactly why this channel exists. Africa Unearthed is dedicated to bringing these stories back to light. Every Wednesday and Saturday, we will uncover the kings, the empires, the warriors, and the mysteries that the world tried to forget. Because African history is not a footnote. It is the foundation. Mansa Musa passed away around 1337 AD. After his death, the Mali Empire slowly declined, weakened by internal conflicts and outside invasions. But his legacy never truly died. Today, over 700 years later, we are still talking about him, still trying to comprehend his wealth, still uncovering the full story of what he built. And this is just the beginning. Next, we will be uncovering the story of an African kingdom, so powerful, so sophisticated, that when European explorers first encountered it, they refused to believe that Africans had built it. Subscribe to Africa Unearthed, so you do not miss that story. The secrets of Africa are just getting started.